This is Emmanuel Yarborough, often described as the immovable force. At 29 years old, standing 2.03 meters tall and weighing 272 kilos, he holds the distinction of being the largest professional combat athlete in the world. In 1992, he secured second place at the World Sumo Championships, proving both his size and his skill. Opposite him is Keith Hackney, 36 years old, 1.81 meters tall and 90 kilos in weight. A second-degree black belt in American Kenpo Karate, Hackney brings over 15 years of intensive training to the octagon. His strategy, a relentless mix of open hand strikes and fast low kicks to neutralize Yarborough's overwhelming mass.
Emmanuel's on his way down. This guy's going to keep his energy and try to use a lot of hands, I think, and really stay away from
And now it's time to go to the ring announcer, Rich G-Man Going.
Semaphore Entertainment, along with Wild Promotions and Panther Productions, presents Ultimate Fighting Championship 3!
Big John gives the signal to start. Hackney begins circling to his left. He's taking the outside foot position as the giant Yarborough advances in a southpaw stance.
It lasted about 2 minutes.
Carefully positioning himself in a side guard, Hackney raises his lead hand, a subtle distraction, while his front leg steps back, shifting his weight. In that split second, he fires a classic inside palm strike, landing flush on Yarborough's face. The massive fighter loses balance and crashes to the ground. Without hesitation, Hackney dives on top, trying to land a punch to the back of the neck. A fierce struggle breaks out. Hackney fights to keep control, preventing Yarborough from getting back up. But the giant grabs Hackney's lead leg, and with sheer power, throws him down effortlessly. From above, Yarborough unleashes a brutal assault, hammering Hackney's back and neck. Still, Hackney refuses to be dominated. He twists his body and fires a punch straight to Yarborough's face, momentarily staggering the sumo. Hackney clings on, desperately trying to keep him down. But the difference in size and strength is overwhelming. Yarborough rises to his feet and with a devastating shove sends Hackney flying out of the octagon through the cage door.
Ultimate Sumo.
That was interesting. He tried to do an old type of choke with both of his fists on the inside of his neck in Yarborough. It's really interesting. It's very difficult to pull that off.
I can't emphasize this enough. Yarborough is coming with sumo and judo.
The fight resumes. Hackney sticks to his strategy, circling around Yarborough, staying on the move as the giant keeps chasing him in a southpaw stance. With measured timing, Hackney closes the distance, attempting to land 2 quick palm strikes, trying to recreate the success of the opening exchange. From a side stance, Hackney begins throwing side kicks to Yarborough's body, trying to keep the distance and slow down the massive fighter's advance. But after several attempts, the giant manages to catch one of his legs. Still, Hackney reacts instantly, landing a series of clean shots to the face, completely throwing the giant off balance.
It's all Keith Hackney. Emmanuel's just covering up. Keep in mind, a corner can stop it with the towel. The referee can stop.
Hackney unleashes an unrelenting barrage of strikes to the back of his opponent's head. The sumo giant, unable to defend himself, stays on 3 points of contact, absorbing the blows helplessly. Seeing enough, Big John steps in and stops the fight.
He just gave in. Emmanuel just tapped out.
A big man like that, it's very difficult for him to be agile on the ground, as you've noticed.
Yeah.
Hackney looks down at his hand. He knows his wrist is broken, the price paid for the powerful strikes he just landed on his opponent's solid skull. He won't be able to continue to the next round. For this fight, Hackney earned just $1,000. Had he advanced to the semifinals, the payout would have risen to $5,000. His next opponent would have been Ken Shamrock if he had chosen to keep fighting.
Emmanuel, got to start off. Going back all the way to the beginning, a lot of people think, well, we didn't really know what we were getting into. We didn't really know what we were getting into. What was the thought process of, oh, I can go in there, I can make $1, or what, did you think it was a wrestling match, or what was the thought process back then?
I went in under auspices, actually as a judo player, even though I went under sumo. Yeah. I went in under a martial artist, so I kind of had the concept of grappling because I knew you couldn't go in and fight 3 fights in a row. So my mindset was actually to grapple my way through. So I just had the right mindset, just didn't have the right game plan.
My name is Keith Hackney. I'm from Roselle, Illinois. Fought in the UFC 3-4, Ultimate 95. They nicknamed me the Giant Killer because of the guy that I fought. At a martial arts school for 15, 16 years. I also have an HVAC company Well, day-to-day life, coming down to working 60 hours a week, just all kinds of different things. I managed, but it was still, still painful. Anywhere between 25 and 15 years. Basically, some of the injuries that I've had, torn rotator cuff in the right, 2 detached tendons, the left, 2 detached tendons, torn rotator cuff, the right knee, they had to cut the bone apart and move the tendon over to straighten the kneecap out and actually clean it out. The left one they did orthoscopic, cleaned it out. I mean, it helped it to a point, but it didn't repair it. If they were injured, they got re-injured. Basically, I think a lot of it really wasn't from fighting, it was more from weightlifting. Some of the pain levels that I've had with the injuries, I've got a high pain tolerance, so I always dealt with it, but normally it was like a 7 or 8.
Now you get to hear the official announcement. Emmanuel Yarborough gets $1,000.
In openweight, size could redefine the rules of engagement, but sometimes it exposed their limits. Emmanuel Yarborough was unlike anything the sport had seen, massive, immovable, overwhelming in presence alone. Across from him stood Keith Hackney, smaller, lighter, outmatched, on paper. But the fight didn't unfold on paper. As the distance closed, the difference in size became obvious. But so did something else: mobility, targeting, precision. Hackney didn't try to match strength. He attacked what size couldn't protect, relentlessly, without hesitation. What followed wasn't technical brilliance. It was raw adaptation. A fighter forced to solve an impossible problem in real time. And he did. Because in a sport without limits, size can dominate, but it can also be exposed. That night proved something few expected. A giant could be brought down, not by matching power, but by finding the weakness it couldn't hide.